I'm Brian Kappa, the owner of ChipDrop, the web app that helps arborists get rid of their wood chips. We're doing this tutorial, which is a tutorial for arborists, primarily to teach how an arborist or a tree company would use the app and the service to get rid of their wood chips or logs. I'm going to go over to the website now. If you haven't seen our website, it's getchipdrop.com or chipdrop.com. So if you want to create an account as an arborist, you would sign up here, click on sign up, and then you'll just create an account as an arborist. But there is also this expectations of, so if you are part of a company and you have crews who are using the service, make sure they understand this stuff too and have read through it. It's not that long, it's pretty easy to read, so just check that out. So getting over to the app, this is what the app looks like on a mobile device. ChipDrop is not a native app. You don't download it. It's just on the web. So getchipdrop.com, create your account, log in. It's all the same place. But it works just like a native app on your phone, or at least it should. And if you ever experience issues, you can email us, and we're pretty quick to respond to tech support issues because we want it to be working all the time when your crews are out in the field. So, yep, I'm going to simulate kind of like I'm a crew member working out in the field. My truck's filling up, and I know I'm going to need a drop site quick, so I pull up this map, and this is just the first thing that comes up when I log in. So there's kind of a lot of stuff going on here. I'm going to go over it. So this may be what you see when you first log in, is these gray sites. If a site is gray, that means it costs $20 to drop at. And if it's gray, it's essentially disabled because you don't have a card on file. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, is I'm going to go add a card on file. Pretty straightforward. This is a fake credit card, so don't worry about any security issues here. I'm on a test website here, so this is not the live website. And any data you see, any information, names, phone numbers, are all fake phone numbers. So I'm not divulging any confidential information. I'm going to add a card to my account. Looks like it was successful. This test site is a little bit slower than the primary site. The primary site should load fairly fast. Anyway, all those sites that were gray before are now green, so I can click on them and I'm good to go. So that gives you access to essentially every site on the map. Now, if you just don't want to pay the fee, that's totally fine. You should take advantage of that, and there's nothing saying you can't just drop at free sites. Any of these sites that are free are always free, and you don't need to put a card on file to drop there. So I could have just skipped that step and just found a free site and just drop there. And you can just use the service like that if you want to, especially in the spring and summer months when there's just a huge demand for wood chips from gardeners and homeowners who are getting out in their yards. You can easily find free places to drop wood chips if you're in some of our bigger cities where we have more users. So Portland, Seattle, Atlanta, Georgia, I know are some that we have a huge user base. So and the other cities in the US are picking up steam and getting a bigger user base as well. So this is kind of the level. Portland is kind of like the level of service that we want to get other cities to. And I know we'll get there. It just takes a little time getting the word out and marketing and whatnot. But yeah, so you can drop at free sites. Once you have your card on file, so like I mentioned, there's the free sites, which say free, pretty straightforward. Any other site that doesn't say free, you pay $20 to drop at. There's shields and houses. I'll touch on that really quickly. Basically, they're the same. All the icons used to be houses. We added this shield icon. We're trying to increase the quality of the sites that you drop at. And one of the steps we've taken to just really ensure that the homeowner, well, for one, is who they say they are. That's the most important thing. But also that that they didn't make a mistake, maybe type in the wrong address or something that would accidentally lead you to mistakenly go deliver wood chips to the wrong house, which is what we want to avoid. Absolutely. So these shield icons just indicate that the homeowner was actually present on that site when they placed the request. So this person here, Debbie Stoglin, not real name, but was actually, at her house when she placed this request. So just an added level of security, and we're going to be improving on that that sort of verification service into the next year. So we're going to be adding additional features just to really make the sites as quality as possible, because that's what we want. So that's the difference between the shield and the houses. Really no difference other than that. You treat them exactly the same. So houses, shields, same deal. And then the last thing that's different about the icons is the number in this orange circle here. That indicates if you would get credits for dropping at this site. So the orange circle indicates that the homeowner is willing to pay a little bit more, and you actually get credits for dropping at this site. And that is actually true if you didn't even have a card on file, but let's say you dropped here at this site, Joe Anderson, you'd get 20 credits, and then after that drop was completed and you got those credits in your account, then you could actually go drop at any site. So you can really kind of sort of game the service to really never have to pay for a drop if you want to. Now, if you're a big production crew and you have lots of crews and you just need to pay the $20 to have access to all the sites, that's there for you as an option too. But we do have plenty of crews that just drop at free sites all day long, and it's totally fine. So that's kind of how the icons work. Let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything. When you first log in and you see the map, it should zero in on your location. And if you haven't enabled location services, you'll probably want to do that on your phone just to make sure that when the map pulls up, it uses your location. That'll be helpful if you're out in the field or at a job. You want to see a map that's like close by. If it's not, it's fine too. You can always just pan around and find a site. If you kind of get off of the area coverage, you can refresh the map, because we only pull a certain number of icons at a time. So you can just kind of pan around, and say you're working in Farmington tomorrow, you can find sites near Farmington. You can also use this address feature if you want to get even more refined. So you can type in an address or a city. Let me show an example here. Okay, so that'll put a little orange pin on that location. So you can actually put your job site into that address field and then find sites that are close to the job site. And that's actually handy if you wanted to see like drive time, because when I click on a site now, it'll show me drive time from that address. Now that's drive time right now, so it won't really apply tomorrow or whenever I'm doing the job, but just another helpful tool to kind of like find a site that's close and handy. So here's a site, Lynette Ward. First thing you're going to see when you click on a site, you can click on any site you want. There's no risk. You can browse around. And so you can see the person's name, like I mentioned, how far they are from the site, from where you're at, or from the address. Just a little basic information there. And then below that is the fee, anything related to payments or fees. So this site's free to drop at. It'll tell you that. If there is a credit, it should also tell you that. I'm going to click on a different site now. So here's Gerardo's got a little bit more going on. It's free to drop at, and I get 20 credits. So free to drop, I get 20 credits. And there's a lot of other information here too, which is handy. So Gerardo had 5 previous successful drops and 3 previous failed drops from other arborists. In addition to that, there's a couple comments here from some of the other arborists on what happened, mainly for those failed drops. And this is handy just in case, like in both cases here, the arborists had cars in the way. So, this is meant to be useful for you looking for a drop site and like, is this going to be a risky place to drop? Should I even try dropping here? It's totally up to you. You make that judgment call, but we give you the information, especially from past crews, so that maybe you can kind of anticipate what it's going to be like. Maybe you just decide you're going to call Gerardo first and talk with him before you make the delivery. So anyway, that's all that information. And then there's that location verified symbol again, just letting you know that Gerardo has verified his location. So added level of security there. So below that is sort of what Gerardo is looking for. So we've broken it up into 4 categories. This is basically like what's in the back of your truck needs to fall into one of these 4 categories. So we have wood chips only, wood chips with a few logs, logs only, and wood chips with many logs. And Gerardo just wants wood chips only and wood chips with a few logs. So he'll take a few logs, but he mainly wants wood chips. That's what those two categories indicate. Now, if you want to, probably the first step to make things simpler is when you're on the map here, you can actually filter the map by what you have in the back of your truck. And that's probably the first step you want to take is if you've got, just a load of logs, you can filter the map, especially since most sites are wood chips only. You can filter the map by logs, and that's really handy because now all these sites are logs only. So I'm going to find another site here. Let's see. All right. Yeah, wood chips only. Okay. So let's see. Where was I? Okay, we're talking about the categories. So the categories are pretty straightforward. Wood chips with a few logs is meant to sort of accommodate you as the arborist, and just like the small, like let's say you're doing a plumb job and you're hauling a 6-inch chipper and you just can't put the trunk pieces through it. You can throw those trunk pieces in the back. That's not going to take up much of the load, and you'll be okay to drop that. We get questions like, what is a few logs? And it's really a gray area, but it's meant to use best judgment. The idea, though, is that it should be a small percentage of the load. It should be mostly wood chips, just a few logs. It could be like 2 or 3 big rounds that you just had to get rid of, or it could be like 5, 10 smaller rounds. As long as most of the load is wood chips, then that's fine. And then wood chips with many logs, that's kind of like a catch-all, because there are some people who want logs and wood chips. Like I use wood chips for mulching, but I also burn firewood, so I would take any of it. So sometimes you might just have a gnarly load with 50% wood chips and 50% logs, just all mixed in there like a rat's nest. But maybe the homeowner doesn't mind because they want both, and that's okay. But you really want to make sure your load falls into one of these categories. If you have any questions, you can always just talk to the homeowner and ask them. And then there's a little disclaimer here about what you're allowed to drop. The deliveries are 1 delivery per request, and that's no more than 15 yards of wood chips or 1 load. And then the logs need to be no longer than 36 inches and 24 inches diameter. We're trying to keep it small enough that homeowners can push these things around. They're not going to have a crew of people. A lot of folks who sign up are older, and they need to be able to move this material around as best they can. So we do let people know, though, that they need to have like a chainsaw and some splitting tools on hand to process the wood, and then obviously they're going to need some tools to move the mulch. But anyway, that's our general policy. Now, you may make arrangements with the homeowner outside of that. You may say, hey, I'm doing this big job and I'm going to have another truckload at the end of the day. Do you want it? You're more than welcome to do that. We're not the wood chip mafia. We're not trying to control any verbal agreements with the homeowner you may make. That's totally fine. We do ask that you commit the first drop in the system. That's very important. Because committing this drop, I'll get to that, that's the last step, takes them off the list. Please commit the first drop, very important, and we will follow up if you're like kind of calling people and delivering and not committing, because essentially what happens is that leads to homeowners getting double loads, and that's really bad because then we have to go remove it for them. So commit the first drop, and then if the homeowner says, I'll take another load, no problem. Go ahead and just do that. You don't have to do it through the ChipDrop service. Just know, though, that if you do make arrangements with the homeowner outside of the service, we can't sort of have your back if it comes to a customer service complaint. It's one of the things I really pride ourselves in about the service is our customer service support we provide. Invariably, you're going to get complaints about deliveries. There were too many leaves. They dropped the load, on my fence, on my garden, whatever it might be. We handle all those complaints. And you may get like the first call or the email from the grumpy homeowner, but you can always forward them on to us and say, look, this is a ChipDrop load. We follow the rules. Please contact ChipDrop support. Give them our email address. They should already have that, and we'll handle those complaints. So we provide that service, but again, we can only do that if we're dropping within the the terms of our service and committing to those drops. If you do anything outside of that, we really can't help you out. So you're on your own. So after that, you'll see a description here about what the homeowner wants, or more than what the homeowner wants, but where to drop the wood chips. So when you show up at the site, where should you put the wood chips? There may be other information in here as well, but really this is your best bet at trying to figure out where to put the chips when you get there. And then below that is like if there's any species that the homeowner doesn't want, they should list them here. Again, people may type other things. This person typed no, so no, take any species is fine. But they may list species in here. Like I know when I request firewood, I say like no poplar or anything that I think might be really too hard to split. I'll list those in here. So please honor and adhere to that and make sure your crews are honoring those requests as well. It's really important. So it's one of the few options we give the homeowners. We don't give the homeowners a lot of options when they use ChipDrop, but it is one of the few options we give them, and we want to make sure that we honor that. And we will follow up too. I'll do my best at Tree ID. If a homeowner sends me some pictures of some pine, I'm like, those look like pine needles. I'll follow up with you. Like, was that pine? So yeah, just do your best to remember to check that before you drop. And then finally, we give you the homeowner's phone number. This is kind of an honor system. If you want to call the homeowner ahead of time and just double check with them, sanity check that everything sounds okay, that's totally fine. We're not going to stop you from doing that. You don't have to do that though. One of the terms of using ChipDrop as a homeowner or a gardener is that you can't really expect a call ahead of time. You as the tree crew are not required to call a homeowner ahead of time. Now, some crews, you may not be comfortable with that, and I totally understand. It's sort of what's within your comfort level, but we do feel like we've vetted the sites well enough and given the homeowners enough obstacles and opportunity to make sure that they know what they're signing up for and they're ready. So again, it's optional. You don't have to call the homeowner ahead of time, but you're welcome to. Again, the thing I want to emphasize here is that it is your responsibility to commit to this drop before you go and deliver the wood chips there, and that is very important because we need to take that homeowner off the list so they don't accidentally get a second load. Very important. So if you do call the homeowner and they give you their address, just make sure you commit that drop. So I'm going to commit this drop here. Just says you're going to go to the site within 48 hours. That's pretty rough. We do expire the drops after 3 days, I believe. So we do want you to deliver pretty shortly after committing. And if it's a job that's further into the future than that, then just wait and check the map again when it gets closer to the job. But yeah, 48 hours. So tomorrow or whatever, I'm going to commit. And then that's it. That house should be removed from the map. You may see it show up the next time you refresh the map. We do cache some of the map icons, but if you tried to like click on it again, it wouldn't let you drop there again. So this person is off the map, which is good. They're not going to get another delivery, but you now have a drop in progress. So this is just kind of reminding you that you have this drop in progress. We'll also send you an email letting you know. So just to remind you, and we'll send you all those details too. So you should be able to retrieve that information when you need it. So let's say it's time to drop. I'm going to click here on Margaret's site. Now I have all the information. This is letting me know that this drop is going to expire on Saturday, so I need to make the delivery before then. We'll give you their address so you can go navigate to the site. You can also copy the information to your clipboard. If you wanted to text it to your crew, let's say, you could just copy that and then send all the information to your crew. Get directions, I think, does the same thing as the address. If I click on that, it'll just pop me out to Google Maps and give me directions to that house. One of the things you may see here is a plus code. So we've started adding, there are some cases where a homeowner doesn't have a reliable mailing address, or it's not in Google yet, or it's a new development, or maybe sometimes a community garden is trying to sign up and they don't have a physical address. So you may see an alternative navigational, let me see if I can find one of those actually. May not be able to find one. Anyway, but you may see another thing called a plus code. That plus code should be used for navigation to the site if you see it. So just know that. And in that case, the address is really just a reference. And you'll want to cross-reference the two. If you get directions to that plus code site, you want to cross-reference that address. Just make sure, double check that everything looks correct. And again, if you have any questions, you can always just call the homeowner. Little recap on what they ordered, and then when it's all done, so let's say I drove there and it was successful, then I can just click success, and that'll be good enough. If there was an issue at the site and something happened, like the car blocking the driveway, or maybe I just had a change of plans and I didn't need that drop site after all, I'd want to specify that. So you can pick one of our canned messages here, or you can type in a note and say, let's just say, change of plans, sorry, and then I can click fail. I'm going to confirm that the drop failed. So if a drop failed, that's totally fine, whether it's a change of plans or whatever. We don't charge anyone for failed drops, so nobody would get charged, whether it was the homeowner or you, and there's no other consequence. So like I said, if there's a change of plans or something, just mark the drop as failed. The homeowner will have to place another request, but that's totally fine. It's pretty straightforward for them to do that, and we'd prefer that they do that as opposed to trying to do something else. So yep, just mark that as failed. And that's pretty much it for making drops on the map. There is another view here, this list view, which you can use as well. It's the same as the map, but if you prefer that to kind of see these sites at a glance, we'll show you successful drops, failed drops, and if the site is free, sort of at a glance. So here, it's up to you. And on a desktop view, if you're using this as like an admin, maybe in the office, and a desktop view, we actually have a desktop view here that shows that list view too. So it's a little bit different view, but it basically works the same. The filter button's up here. Yeah. And that's how the app works. It's really just built to make it as easy as possible for you and your crew to find sites. Excuse me. So a couple of things I wanted to go over here is in your account, you have this account profile page. This is kind of your admin account. This is the account you signed up with, whatever email address you signed up with. It's really intended for like the manager or office admin or owner of a company. This is kind of the admin account, but you know, we set it up so that your crew can use it out in the field, and you don't want them to use all the same login. It'll just add to confusion, and it'll make it really clunky. There's also a limitation on the number of pending drops you can have. You can only have 3 pending drops at a time per account. So if you have 4 crews running out in the field and they're all using the same account, you're going to run out of drops pretty quickly. So the solution to that is to set up these crew accounts here, and you should set up a crew account for any team member who is going to be using the app, and you should do it with their email address. It can be their personal email address, and this will let them log in, and they'll be logging in under your company account, but with their own crew account. So you can create that account here, just put name, and it's pretty straightforward, email address, and then we also give the option of a phone number. Right now, all the contact information that goes to the homeowner, if they need to contact you, let's say about a drop, that information is your company information. But the idea for the phone number here is maybe at some point down the road we may include the arborist contact information. But anyway, I don't actually think this gets used for anything for the phone number, but just the email address, first name, last name, is helpful, and then that'll let them log in, and we'll send them an activation email letting them know how to log in and get set up. So definitely use those crew accounts. They're pretty useful and pretty essential. Like I said, if you're going to have multiple people using the same company account, and any drops that a crew member makes that cost money, will use this same company card that you have on file. So again, that's really important too. Couple other information, other things here. If you want to update your company information, you can do that here. And again, this is just meant for like contact info for the homeowners that you deliver to, the gardeners you deliver to. We want to share your contact information with them in case they need to get a hold of you. So that's very important. Make sure this is up to date. If your phone number changes or whatever, make sure that's up to date. If if we or the homeowners can't get a hold of you, we're going to try to reach out to you and get that information updated. Pretty important to have that contact information in there. And then the last thing is, if you are interested in getting the service started in your city and there's not a lot of homeowners, gardeners out there on the map, then we will send you some free ChipDrop stickers. I actually have some in the office here. I'll show you in just a second, but you can order these stickers. They just look like this, and we'll send them in the mail, up to 10, and you can put them on your truck. And it just says, it's really simple. It's not really branded that much, but it does have the website, and it just says free wood chips, and it's just meant to get the word out to gardeners. I mean, if you're driving through your town, there's going to be cars behind you following you, and they'll see free wood chips and maybe remember the URL and go to that website. Even if they don't, we're pretty good on search results for the keyword free wood chips. So if someone even searches free wood chips, they should be able to find ChipDrop. So yeah, we'll happily send those to you for free, in exchange for having you sport those on the side of your fancy branded truck. We really appreciate that. A lot of crews have been really open to putting the stickers on the side of their truck, and we're really flattered by that. So yeah, you can place that order there. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, this is what the stickers look like. They're about 20 inches by 7 inches. Just say free wood chips, and then the website. So again, it says chipdrop.com on the website. That the URL you'll see is getchipdrop.com. It doesn't matter. It all goes to the same place. So chipdrop.com is just easier to remember. And that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go to comments. I kind of meant this to be a Q&A, so if anybody has any questions, you can ask those. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions while you're using the app or out in the field, even if your crew has questions, you can, actually I'll go back to the screen here. There is actually a support number here that you can call. And we provide that support number to tree companies and arborists exclusively. Not to gardeners, because we want to provide that level of support. ChipDrop really is a service geared towards arborists and tree companies, although it is a service for free wood chips. We really feel that the arborists are the customers of the service, especially since they're the ones paying to use the service. So we want to provide that level of support. So yeah, if your crew's in a pinch or the website just isn't working and you're out in the field, just give us a call, shoot us a text message, and we'll try to help out. So thanks for joining. That's pretty much it, and appreciate all you who are using ChipDrop or who want to use ChipDrop in the future. Like I said, if you want to get it started in your area, create an account, and then you can request those stickers. We'll send them to you, and yeah, we'd love to have you on board. It's pretty straightforward. Thanks again, and thanks again to the ISA for hosting the conference. Take it easy.